Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. So I wanted to bring you another video. Um, Consider if you are using your gifts to the best of your ability. And if you're not, find a way to do that. So I know that for a lot of us, we agree that in this world, we're not always required or it is not demanded that we use our gifts, talents, abilities the best. But the world needs that. It needs us to do that. Now, like, I hear a lot of people talk about the the grind, and for a lot of people, they do go through that, and it can really wipe a person out. I don't think that it always needs to be that way. And of course, I think there are ways that people cannot have to go through so many hard times. I think for some people, we have to think about zodiac signs and things like that if we want to get into that a little bit. Um, that so for example, Saturn rules um different signs, and one of the planets, or one of the signs that Saturn rules is, as I know of, Capricorn. Another sign, and I'm trying to make sure that it's the right um sign. I think another sign, trying to make sure that I'm right. Sorry. I think it's Aquarius, which is interesting to me. I feel like some of the zodiac signs that Saturn rules, because Saturn is has been called the father, or father time, or Saturn um is often about struggle and hard times and stuff like that. And if you notice, sometimes Aquarius people and Capricorn people can be um focused a lot on hard times and struggle, and they might often think that that is their reality all the time, but it doesn't have to be. So they might think about war all the time, conflict, fights, things like that. But just keep in mind, um, it doesn't always have to be that. So for a person who is one of those signs, you have to remember that you don't always have to be in constant battle. Doesn't always have to be a struggle. Doesn't always have to be a fight. Sometimes there can be ease. And I, as an Aries, believe in finding ways to make our lives easier. So it doesn't have to be, you know, I don't believe I gotta starve all the time, gotta have a hard time all the time. I do not believe that that has to be my reality all the time. I'm not in love with the struggle. It can be easy street, it can be smooth sailing. Now, don't get me wrong, we want to develop our skills, abilities, gifts, and talents and things. And so we will go through some challenges, but we do not have to face hard times all the time. And I think these are things we have to keep in mind um, with the different zodiac signs. That your sign might not be about this struggle, hardships, hard times, things like that to get to the top. You got to, go through it and all of that. No, you don't have to. Every sign does not believe in that. And it's funny because my ruling sign, the ruler of my sign is Mars and war. And the thing is, now I'm also, it's interesting to me because, Aries, time of the year. Sorry about that. Shut the camera. Um, that's interesting too. It's funny because that's good. If if that means it's a shakeup, we don't have to stay in those old patterns, those old habits, those struggles anymore. We could break out of that. And I think that, being a twin flame, part of it is we break molds. We shake things up, we change things, and it does not always have to be about the struggle. For me, I need there to be some ease, and there is some ease. And I think people get mad at me when I talk about this. Like, no, it does not have to be hard times, it does not have to be struggle. It can be ease in your life. Allow it to be. But I think that because some signs face so much struggle, so much so much hardships, like we're talking about so much hardship, excuse me, talking about Capricorn, we're talking about Aquarius, two signs, man, that go through things. They go through struggles. They have battle after battle after battle. And like I said, it's funny to me because my sign is ruled by Mars. I'm not about that life. I'm about good times. So when I meet with those signs, and I'm like, no, it could be easy. It could be, a breeze and all this. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yes, it could be a good time. And I'm thinking about, having a good time and, having fun and all this stuff. And they're like, no, life is about struggle. I'm like, no, it's not. So I think it brings a lot of light and sunshine, even though they might not admit it, even though they might say, no, no, they're not used to it, or they feel like they'll have a cush life or cushy life or whatever. And then when struggles come, maybe they won't be ready because they've had it easy. They like had a soft life and stuff like that. And I'm saying, no, no, it doesn't have to be the hardships. It can be easy street. Yes, the planets matter. So just keep in mind, even though you don't have to be tied to those planets and their characteristics and things like that, or your zodiac sign, because you can create your life. You can create your experience. Just keep in mind, sometimes you do get stuck under those things, and you got to break free and get out of that. And you don't have to struggle through all that stuff. Um, all right, so I don't want this video to be too long, so I just wanted to share a little bit of that um, it doesn't always have to be about hard times. It can be about being um, on easy street. It can be about um, things going well, but originally the video was about, are you using your gifts, talents, abilities to the best of your ability? If you're not, finding ways to do that. And I know the world does not always demand that of us, but it sharpens us to get better at doing those things. Um, for me, again, I don't want the video to be too long. What I wanted to say in this case is, I always knew when something was meant for me when it was not that difficult to do, when it was super duper extra hard to do. I knew that God didn't put that aside for me because God did not mean for my life to be a struggle. God meant for my life to be easier than that, that I went through enough struggle, you know, in my history that I didn't need to, um, go through that later on. So just, just keep that in mind. For some people, they know that it's meant for them maybe when they struggle for it, or maybe they value it more because they struggle. But yeah, no, I'm not about that life. I believe that there could be ease to our lives. And even though you might say, well, you'll be soft, no, you'll be ready to handle struggles. Maybe even better sometimes if you're able to take a break and take it easy and then get back to that later. So find ways, I would say, to continue to develop your abilities, gifts, talents. Um, One of the things that I'm interested in, very interested in, is looking at ways to develop psychic abilities, gifts, and talents, and things like that. And I know there are a lot of schools and things, but also doing my own um, exercises and having my own experiences is another way to do it. So I'm looking forward to being able to share some of those things. But just keep in mind, the world needs you. It needs your abilities, your gifts, your talents. And you might not always think that you need to be pushing yourself, but when you do, you just start seeing people reaching for your gifts um, because they do need them. All right. Thank you again for joining me. Looking forward to bringing you another video soon on a similar topic. As always, happy lightning fast manifesting and looking forward to talking to y'all again soon. Love y'all. Okay. Bye for now.